Anybody that knows me knows what a big deal this is for me right now. I was one of the co-hosts of the Ringer podcast, Way Down in the Hole, where we recapped every episode of the greatest television show of all time, The Wire. And we have one of the most signature characters in the history of The Wire, the woman who played one of the most signature characters in the history of The Wire, joining us today, Felicia Snoop Pearson. Thank you for joining us today on Higher Learning, Snoop.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, we all know your work from The Wire, but before I get any of my Wire nerd questions, I don't want to talk about what it is that you're doing right now. You're actually, unfortunately, we lost our brother, Michael K. Williams. Yes. Devastating loss. Yes. We talked about it here on Higher Learning.
Yeah.
He has an amazing show on Vice TV called Black Market, and you are stepping up to provide some voiceover to some of those episodes that Michael, unfortunately, wasn't able to do before he left us. The show premieres on January 10th, 2022, obviously. And why don't you just take us through, before you even get into the show, a little bit about how you and him became so tight, how y'all relationship led to you getting on The Wire, and what it means to kind of step in for him and make sure that this project is completed, that, you know, he couldn't do it.
I mean, you know, my brother wear a lot of hats, man. You know, like, he was an amazing man. And for them to, you know, call me to step in, you know, just to, I can't fulfill his shoes, but, you know, just to provide a little help, you know what I mean? And it's like bittersweet, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted him to finish it. I want him to finish his project. I want him to be here. That's like my glue, man. That's like, it's my heart. That's my brother. Like, ain't no acting, ain't no just because we on set, none of that. It's like two peas in a pot, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, since he first introduced himself to me, because I didn't know who the hell he was. You know what I mean? In Club One in Baltimore, and you know what I mean, looks can be deceiving. You know what I mean? I thought he was a straight, gorilla type dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't know who you is. I'm outside hustling. I don't watch The Wire. You know what I'm saying? So I thought he was something else that he wasn't. I mean, like I said, looks can be deceiving, because as soon as he started talking to me, it was like, man, he's so sweet. You like so a pot of gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a teddy bear or something. You know what I mean? But, you know, Mike was all in all, you know what I mean? He was an activist. He wore a lot of hats. I'd be here all day trying to describe this one man. I mean, he was a king. He's legendary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. You guys met in a club. And he said, I mean, you know, like, not great things always happen in the club when you meet somebody. Y'all met and it just changed the entire trajectory of your life, you could say. Were you interested in acting in that at that moment? Like, how? So he planted that seed. Yeah, talk a little bit about that conversation, how that came about.
We ain't had no conversation about it. I mean, I just came to the set and I was just talking, and you know, I came to the set to see him. The set was only like 2 blocks away from my grandmother's house, because at the time I was living with my grandmother. And he called me, and my grandmother woke me up. I had a hangover. I just left the club. I don't know how he at work. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he's at work. I come see him 2 blocks away, and they heard me talking, and, you know, it just went from there. They just, like, you think you'll be able to, and, you know, my first words on national TV was about time. I never forget that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I thought I was just shit.
Your turn, girl. Your turn, girl. Well, so let me ask you this.
It was about time.
So for people who don't know what was going on, Snoop's character was part of the Stanfield organization. Snoop and Chris, the deadliest team of Muscle and West.
But they never had a like. They just wrote me in. They never had a role for me.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Oh, so they wrote you in after they met you, so you weren't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, crazy.
Nah. That role probably was for a guy or something, but soon as they hear me talk and they see that I could read and remember lines, or they was like, ball game. Yeah, ball game. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So for people who don't know, they were in a bit of war with Omar, who was a stick-up kid in West Baltimore. So this is your dear friend that you haven't realized. And the whole time on the show, you're hunting for him to try to put one in his dome. What was that like when you guys were going through that?
I wish Instagram was around. That's one scene that we go to the hospital when he jumps out the window. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I go to the hospital looking for him or whatever, but he outside. He kept saying, "I'm right here." Like it was funny. I mean, I don't know, man. Man, brother, I get a little emotional, but you know.
I feel you. Go ahead, Rachel.
No, absolutely. I just wanted to ask one more last question about this. Just obviously you telling your story and the relationship that you had with Michael off camera shows the type of person that he is and the powerful person that he is. If you could just maybe share, because you said Instagram wasn't around or social media at the time, share like a fun moment or a funny moment.
What was that around then? MySpace. I wasn't
MySpace, and maybe like the start of Facebook at the end. Like if you could just share a fun moment that just puts a smile on your face every single time you think about that and just reminds you of him.
When season, I was just thinking about this because we had press all day today. It was season 4, my first opener. And I go to the hardware store.
One of the greatest scenes in the history of the show.
And shout out to the writers and shout out to me delivering.
You earned man. Yes. You earned that bump like a motherfucker.
And I didn't know how big the screen opener, like the first opener was. Like, and he kept calling me like, I mean, should I be nervous? He was like, is you ready for this? You ready? You gonna kill this? I know you got it. And he came from he came from LA all the way to Baltimore, and just to sit down with me before I sat down with Ed Burns and David Simon and Nina and George, and he was like, you don't understand what's going on. And then his smile is just contagious. And I started smiling. And I said, why are we smiling? And he said, man, you about to be a star. You already a star, but you about to be a star, my little sis. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Just I could go on and on a days. Yeah.
So I want to talk about the future of Snoop, but before I do, I just want to, because every time I talk to people from the Y, no matter who it is, I was like, yo, you was in the greatest fucking TV show of all time. And not only were you in the greatest TV show of all time, like you were one of the most memorable characters in television history. Stephen King says you are perhaps the most terrifying female villain ever. I don't even think Snoop was a villain, by the way. I don't think Snoop was a villain. To me, like Snoop was a gentlewoman. Like, you know, she was just about her shit. I don't think Snoop was.
What you was looking at.
Well, let me tell you why though. Hold on. Let me tell you.
Pushed up and Snoop up and down. You probably would have got your head cracked.
She killed. Let me tell you why I feel. Let me tell you why I feel like Snoop wasn't a villain. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because if you wasn't in the game, I didn't feel like you had much to worry about from Snoop. Okay. And see, I feel like Marlo was a villain because Marlo just killing security guys and all this stuff, which y'all probably killed him. But is like when see how Snoop treated the dude at the hardware store, and Snoop was just in the game heavy. But I feel like Snoop was cool other than that. Anyway, so I'll ask you.
I got a little feeling, not a heart, but a little
not
feeling.
A heart, but a little feeling. a little feeling. Like a little feeling. So let me ask you this. You I read that you have perhaps a new limited series that you might be working with, that might be coming out with you and Ed Burns, who was one of the EPs of The Wire, about your life. Is that going to be similar to the tone of the show, or is this something completely different?
So you gotta go and get my book, Grace After Midnight.
Word up.
In my book, I talk about my trials and tribulations. That I've been through. I was starting off, my mother was addicted to drugs, and I died 3 times because the drugs was in my system when she was having me, and came to Oliver Street, probably like a month old for real, when the doctors was counting me out. You know what I mean? Like, told the Pearsons, like, don't get too attached to her. You know what I mean? And cross-eyed, went to jail 14 and a half. It's nothing like The Wire. I mean, you want to see Baltimore, but this is going to get to the real gritty of Baltimore. This ain't no cut cards or nothing. And I'm a female going through them type of things out on the street. You know what I mean? Like, just doing what the guys doing at the age of 10. You know what I mean? Right. Learning the game. So, it's not nothing to glorify or be proud of, but you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to do them things. The Pearsons, mama and pop, they ain't want me out in the streets, but they was older. And you got to think about, I was adopted. I was thinking like the whole world against me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking nobody give, excuse my language, 3 fucks about me. You know what I mean?
Word.
So that's what you're going to get. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. That's why it got to be a limited, a series, because my life just continue on. It just keeps going. I mean, I'm just so hurt that my brother, he knew the situation before, his demise. So, he gave me my flowers. He was so proud of me because Mr. Ed Burns and Philip Michaels, they helped me. Well, Ed Burns, he helped me write my own script. See, I paid somebody to write my script. And then Ed Burns showed me how to write a script. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm ready to eat forever. You know what I mean? He showed me how to fish. So I'm ready to eat forever. And I'm so grateful for that. And then when I told Mike, and he was saying, he was like, oh my God, like you should have seen his eyes, man. Like, I knew something was going to click in. Yeah, because, y'all make my own table. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I got Snooping for love. I'm looking for love, man.
Now this is
lonely, man.
Okay now, Snoop. Well, before I ask you about the dating show,
I'm looking for love, man.
I love this. Before I ask you about the dating show, are you gonna star in this limited series? Or are you just gonna be okay? You're gonna star in it.
Can I still get away with? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you look. I mean, it don't look like nothing.
No time has passed.
Exactly. I'll be real with you, Snoop. It looked you popped on. I was like, God damn, that's Snoop. It looked just like the same thing.
Passed.
Absolutely. So go ahead, Rach.
The dating show. Now, Snoop. Yes, I come from a dating show. That's my wheelhouse there. I come from the Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Oh, let me see. Let me get close on it. Let me see.
Okay. Snoop.
Okay. How you doing?
But I love that you're doing this for yourself, because I wasn't sure if this was you looking for love, or you were just behind this concept? So you're looking for love. What made you want to say, I want to put myself out there? Because you got to be a little bit vulnerable to do this kind of thing. And it's a different side of you people are going to see, right?
Yep, exactly. And that's what I want people to see, the different sides of me. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid. You straight, by the way? You on my side?
I found love. I found love on the show.
But I don't care. Yeah, but I don't care that you straight. I still push up on you and ask you, can I take you out on a date? You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's how my show coming, man. It don't matter if you straight, crazy, gay. You know what I'm saying? Long as you're female, I got you. But you know what I'm looking for love.
So I got one more question for you. Go ahead. I got one more question for you. All right. Now we had Amari Hardwick on here. He played Ghost on Power.
Right.
We asked him to rank the 3 shows: Power, Snowfall, and The Wire. Mm-hmm. He put The Wire first.
Good man.
He put Snowfall, I think he put The Power second, and he put Snowfall third. All right.
What I gotta pick out of them 3?
I mean, what do you think the order is?
No, I'm saying them 3 though.
Yeah, them 3.
Okay.
The Wire, Snowfall, and Power. What's your order?
Yeah, I go with his order. No. I go with The Wire. Power, then Snowfall. That's my
So that's what he said.
I fuck with Power. Yeah.
Yeah, The Wire, Power, then Snowfall.
Yeah, I'm fucking with 50. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the homie right there. Look, Snoop.
Yeah. I want to ask her one more question.
One more question. Yeah, you got. Of course.
You're building a foster home in Baltimore. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So, like I said before, I'm a foster child, so you know what I mean. I go where my heart at, and my heart is with helping people. Period. But kids is my dear, and to my heart. And Baltimore, I gotta do a home. It's called Utopia, if you know the meaning of Utopia.
Oh, that's so
nice. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like I'm just out here, man. I'm around, but I'm not around, but I'm around.
Word. That's amazing, Snoop.
Yes, it is.
The show is Black Market with Michael K. Williams. It is premiering on January 10th on Vice TV. Also, it seemed like you got a full plate. You got the reality show you shopping. You got the limited series you got coming out. And then you're building a foster home for the kids in Baltimore. I am overjoyed.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. I think I know a little bit about your life story.
Yeah,
you are truly
a triumph. And mess with you, man.
Please.
I got you.
All
when
right.
everything starts, I got you, man. I got you.
All right. Appreciate you joining us today on Higher Learning, Snoop.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.